Hi guys, I just wanted to explain the resort report that is listed in Schoology that you were to have completed. I've gotten a couple questions and so I thought I would address those questions for you now. So if you look at the first page of the resort report, it asks you to name your resort. That's totally up to you. And also your location is totally up to you. And so you just need to enter those in there. What makes your resort unique? Again, that is totally up to you. This is for you to kind of have some fun with. Now, one of the big things here is that you have to decide how many rooms that you want to have in the hotel that's your resort. And now it says here you must have a minimum of 100 rooms total and at least 10 of each type. So if you look here, you have the 1-bedroom, the premium suite, the basic room, and the 2-bedroom. And again, you must have at least 10 of each of those, and your total number of rooms, so if you think about that over here, your total number of rooms would need to be 100. You could have more than 100, but it has to at least be 100, so you choose how many of each rooms that you have. Now, you do need to keep an eye on this part. Whatever you decide in the first part, you do need to include in the rest. It goes from that page to the next page. So down here it says how many rooms total do you have? Well, you need to go back up here, and what it says is that if you have a 2-bedroom, that is 2. So what would you do with those? You would double the number for the number of rooms, because they're not talking about number of rooms per se, but the number of each type of room, like you'd put in the first part. This is actual rooms. Like I have 2 bedrooms in my house, so that is 2 rooms, even though it is 2 bedrooms. Okay, so if you think about it, a hotel, you rent a 2-bedroom hotel room, but within there are 2 rooms. So what it says down here is, so a 2-bedroom counts as 2 rooms. So if you had 6 2-bedrooms, which could not be your option because remember you had to have 10 of each, then you would need to include, to count the 2 bedrooms twice. Okay, so you add up how many rooms here, how many rooms here, how many rooms here, and twice the number of rooms here, and that's your total in this one. Then it asks how many guests total can you fit in your hotel. You go back up here, maximum number of people that can be in each room. So whatever number you have in here, what do you do with that number? You take that times your maximum number of people in the room. You'll do that all across the board. Again, this is just your total of each room times the maximum number of guests. That goes in this second box. How many beds are in your hotel? Go back up here. This one has 1 bed. This has 2 beds. This has 1 bed. This has 4 beds. It does not ask for sofa beds yet. That is the next question. So again, you look at how many are in this one and times how many of that type of room, how many in this one times that type of room, and you keep going on the 4 types. That goes in here. How many sofa beds? You go back up here. 1 sofa bed, 1 sofa bed, 2 sofa beds. You take that times your number of rooms that have that in, and that's your total here. Bathrooms, kitchens, same type of thing. You look up here as to what you have, and then you do the multiplication, and that total goes down here. So before you move on, it wants you to think about this. If your resort was a really big hit and somebody asked you to build 25 more just like that, how many bathrooms would you build total? You go up here, how many bathrooms are in your hotel? If you built 25 more of those, how many would you have there? Okay, how many guests total would you have if you had to build 25 more hotels? Look at your total number of guests up here, and if you're going to build 25 more, then how many more people? How many people total would fit in those? And then it says, suppose your boss asks you to triple the size of your resort, and you need to have 3 times as many sofa beds. Okay, so you go back up here, how many sofa beds are in there right now, and how many would there be if you had to triple it? If you don't know what triple means, that would be times 3. Okay, outfitting your resort room. This is part 2. So now you're going to think about the things that you might want to have in those rooms. Okay, now when you take a look at this, you have to think about how many rooms. And this would be where if you had like a 2-bedroom, you might want to think about that you just have one TV because it would be out in the main area, not in the bedrooms. Okay. So you just want to be thinking about that in terms of rooms. I would stick with this bottom row where your total number of rooms in your hotel were. Okay, so in that then you put the total number needed here. Each one costs $415. So figuring out how do you find your total cost for the hotel, using some simple mathematics, which is taking your total number times your cost of each item, and that goes here. You do the same thing for the chairs, the coffee table, the paintings, coffee maker, hangers, telephone. You just have to keep going with doing your multiplication. Down on the third part, this is for the bedrooms, okay? If you have to go by the number of beds, which you had to find out in the other sheet. You take your sofa beds or your beds, you take that total number needed, that was up in your part 2, I believe. You take that times the cost of each item there, and then you put that total here. Sheets, this is the number per sofa bed. This is only on the beds, not the sofa, or yes, the sofa beds are included. So beds and sofa beds have to be included in those. So you need to add the 2 from up above. And then you get your total here. Then the next thing is per bedroom. So again, go back up and see what you had for totals up there. Then cost each item across there. And then the next one is for the bathrooms. Again, total number of bathrooms, which you figured out up in the other part. Simple multiplication there and what you need. And then down in this last one, you needed to count your total number of kitchens, which you already had to do on that second or third page. And then you do your multiplication straight across is how many do you need there. And then this last part is where you tie it all together. So you have your room needs, which was in part 1. You put your total cost. Your bedroom needs, total cost. Bathroom needs, total cost. Kitchens, total cost. And then here's your final total when you added all that up. Okay, and then it's just got a couple questions here for you. If you wanted to save money on your hotel, what are some ways that you could do that? Number 2 is if your boss wanted you to double the size of the hotel, what would be the easiest way to find the total of the cost? And then the third thing is there are several major items missing in this report, and your boss will notice. So what are 3 things that you need to add to the total price of the hotel when you present the plan to your boss? So you need to think about what are some things that might need to be included as well in the building of the hotel. One thing you might want to think about is that hotels don't build themselves, and you would definitely need to have some materials as well. So just be thinking about those. Okay, so that is the explanation of what you needed to do for this assignment. And if you have further questions, then you need to contact me directly. I do encourage you to join the Zoom that I am available every day in order to get your questions answered. Thank you.